Today we're going to go through, before we eat, a little conscious eating exercise, only because I really like you to notice, if at all possible, as I speak and as we go through lunch, what comes up for you. I believe there's about 50 to 70,000 thoughts that come through your head at any given moment. I'm actually asking you to drop out of that and just notice without any judgment or conclusion about the things that are coming up. Because what happens is it's highly likely the thoughts that are coming up in your head as we go through this and go through lunch today, there's something in that for you if you're willing to take a look at it. Because what you tell yourself and what the thoughts that are giving you don't have anything to do with you being in your body. Because you see, if you're in your head, you're not in your body. And I know that sounds completely crazy, but just follow me for a second. And I want you to notice, do you have resistance to what I'm saying? Are there judgments? Are there things, yeah, she's crazy? You know, whatever that thought is that comes up for you, and that's okay, because I have allowance and I have no judgment. And the reason for that is I tease people. I'm considered a biochemical expert and a nutritionist, but I'm not the food police. And the reason is, it's your body. And at the end of the day, it only matters what matters to you. My job is just to help you get there, clear out the interference so that you can hear you and connect in with the life that you came here to live. So what'll happen is you'll have judgments and thoughts and expectations and projections and conclusions and all this crap that comes up in your head. At the end of the day, if your logical mind could have gotten you to where you wanted to be, wouldn't you have been there already? I mean, people tease me because I'm pretty direct, and it's because life's short. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot myself. I've helped a lot of people, and honestly, it's never about what you think it's going to be, and it's never about a thought process. It's always about being in your body and your heart and your being and the choices that you make, and having a willingness to recognize those thoughts or those judgments or those conclusions that come up for you about yourself and your life, and maybe allowing yourself to receive in a way that teaches you, what if my life is a left and right turn, and what if there isn't a wrong or right? And what if I didn't have to judge myself today for where I'm at, my circumstances, my life, my body, my image, whatever that is for you. So is that possible for everybody, maybe, to just focus on that at least just for the next half an hour or so?
Yes.
Okay. Because I promise you it's not about being logical. It's never about A to B. Now, with that said, there is where you are today, and there is where you would like to be. And if you're not there yet, it's just simply a matter of bridging the gap from A to B. Okay? But bridging that gap is not logical. It's not in your mind. It's actually in your body. And your body's going to give you that information if you allow it, and you allow that knowing and that inner listening. And for each person, it might be a little bit different based on what that is for them. So as we go through the practice, if you find yourself up in your head as we're talking for the next little bit, I'm going to encourage you to make the choice, because everything, as long as we're given a breath, is a choice, right? Everything is a choice, believe it or not. We are co-creators in this experiment called life and the bodies that we're given. So if we're given breath, we're given choice. And if you make the choice to give yourself a signal when you notice that you're up in your head too much and not in your body, and what I mean by that is, for some people it's putting their hands on their legs, or they'll get a visual image. I have a girlfriend who has a Post-it note up on her mirror, or she puts them around the house. So what is one thing that you could do that would connect you with your body, that would get you out of the chatter? Because we all have the chatter. Chatter doesn't really serve us. A lot of times people don't know really how to, some people call it ground or connect in, or get out of that contracted head space, and head trash is really what I call it, that doesn't serve us. And so think about or allow yourself to receive a tool or a signal, if you will, that works for each of you. Choice is power, because choice gives you possibility, infinite possibility, and it gives you information, and it gives you power. And if you have information, if you have choice, if you have possibility, everything is infinitely more open. The way that I give the example is, if you're here in a judgment or a conclusion or a projection about or a thought that is not serving you, you're like this and nothing can come in. If you think about choice or asking a question and maybe not looking for one answer that's finite that will limit you, you have an infinite way and possibility for that thing or that circumstance or that whatever for you to show up. And within your body, within that cellular memory, within that story that you've either created or are looking to create to bridge that gap of where you'd like to be, the information is actually there for you. How do I know that? Because I couldn't get the information if it wasn't possible. So when I would work with clients, I do a lot of energy work, off-body stuff, and then diet, lifestyle, environmental, physical, biochemical, spiritual, emotional, because it's all wrapped up within that story. And so usually I work a lot of one-on-one with people because within whatever you're asking to create, it's all connected to your body and to the life that you came here to live and the story that you've been dragging around with you and the one that you want to put in place, but you can't quite get there. You know it's possible, and if you have a dream on your heart, you can actually have that. It's just whatever's in the way. And so allowing yourself to have a little bit of space, to give yourself a signal, to work with your body, because it is the biggest gift that you will ever be given. Your wealth is your health, and I'm sure you've heard that. I have lost my health for a time, and I can tell you that your quality of life, how you're living, because we have to do our lives anyway. What would it be like if we were giving ourselves a little bit of empowering choice to not make ourselves wrong, to stay out of judgment, even for a small amount of time, to get out of the head trash, to connect in with the gift that's your body, so that you and your body can work together instead of apart. Because you will get there a lot quicker if you include your body. So one of the ways that you can do that is you can ask questions, because choice creates awareness. So if you're willing to ask questions, there's possibilities there. And sometimes you're not always going to, people are taught to look for answers like we talked about, but it's not always going to come the way that you think it comes. And a lot of times it comes way better than we ever possibly could have imagined. And that's the gift and miracle of possibility in life and choice. So if you're willing to ask a question, if you're willing to be curious, and if you're willing to have a sense of humor, which we talked about earlier. The reason being is there's an energy and a space and a consciousness to everything that we are in this life. We collectively agree that this is a room and a building. Everything's energy. So if you're coming at something, you feel disconnected or stuck or challenged, quite possibly there's an energy, a space, or a consciousness that you're either being or not allowing yourself to be or receive that's keeping you from where you want to be. And it's really hard to hear your information and your own internal information if you're either looking for someone else to fix you or you're not willing to go within and hear what your body's trying to say. Because I assure you it's all in there. It really is. So, as women, for this intimate group, we have women in the room. Women are not taught to receive on this planet. We are taught to give and give and give and give. Well, giving is a beautiful thing, but if there's no flow and there's very little receiving coming back, if you're always out here giving, then how do you ever hear what's going on inside? So I work with people a lot to learn how to receive their bodies, their lives, their being, and what they're asking for. And I'll give you an example. When I work with clients, they either want more money, if I'm coaching them on business, relationships, or it's something around their weight or their health or some kind of health challenge. Well, what's interesting is they come to me with those three things, and that's why I asked the question earlier. Sometimes the relationship will show up first. Sometimes the weight will show up first. Sometimes money will just come out of nowhere. as we start to work on their body and customizing what's happening and clearing some of the files that are no longer working or serving that body and that story in your life. And the reason why that happens is that you have less points of view and beliefs about one of those three things. So, as human beings, we kind of go through life and we forget sometimes very quickly what the challenge is until it changes. And then we have no cellular memory because it's no longer there. It's no longer a problem. It's no longer a belief or a point of view that you cannot have it. And so stored within your body and within your cellular memory is the point of view or belief or the story that is keeping you from or is allowing what's possible to you for you to have and receive that. Bodies don't require as much food as we think that they do. With that said, when you put something in your mouth, it should be and can be the most orgasmic, juicy, wonderful thing you've ever eaten. So one of the things that can happen is when we go to the table today, there may be everything that you want, there may be nothing that you want, there may be one or two things. If you didn't judge it and you allowed your body to receive it, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do is look at the food when you're eating it, enjoy the plate, enjoy the experience. Notice when you put the food in your mouth, does the flavor change and is it orgasmic to your body? If you can notice those two things, and as you go through the bites of food, be willing to notice when the flavor of that food changes. When the flavor of that food changes, it's highly likely that your body's done with it. There's a little gurgle in our tummies when we think we're hungry. That's actually space and consciousness is allowing your body to be. Your body actually kind of likes that a little bit. When we stuff it and we try to fill it up and we do other things or we're not getting our needs met, there's a little bit of a disconnect or an argument there in that story. Your body, believe it or not, is helping you and thinks it's giving you what you're asking for. So we need to maybe look at what we're telling ourselves, what we're doing, whatever. It's giving you a gift. It believes that it's starving. I don't know if that's verbal, if it's emotional, if it's spiritual, if you've taken that on for someone else, but it actually is giving you what you're asking for. The question is, what are we asking for? So that's why I've asked you today to really notice your thoughts and be in your body and not in your head, because how can you hear anything in your body if you're up here? You can't. So as you go to do your food, just notice your plate, notice the experience, notice when the food changes, because it's one of the quickest ways to tap in and to know when your body is actually, it's what it wants, it's what it's asking for, and when it's done with it. And then just notice maybe some of the, how much are you up in your head? Are you paying attention to your body? Are you experiencing the food? Sex, working out, getting our needs met are all a same and similar vibration and energy and pleasure to the body. Your body is the thing that experiences comfort and pleasure. Your being, your spirit, your heart doesn't. It's your body. So if you can kind of ground and connect, whatever that looks like for you as you're enjoying the meal, and then let's see what happens after that.